Hey guys, today we're playing Ascension, which is a free visual novel. So if you get any interest in this, you can just hop on and go play it right now, because this is just a let's try preview anyway. This was created by Soulmatul, which is a YouTuber that covered Pathologic. It's probably what you're best known for, and it is an allegory for coming out as trans, I believe, which is exactly what she did over the course of the last few years. So it's been a journey. And I think this is a more literal journey. The Underhive is dark, stifling, noxious. You can choke on the acrid stench of spilled vodka and rotting sugar, and the Scholar does, reflexively covering his mouth. His shoes stick to the floor, mired in viscous puddles. His eyes readjust to the dim light, just fast enough to see the haze of bodies. Limbs, silhouettes that jostle him as he tries to move past. He bumps shoulders with too many strangers, too awkwardly. The noise too overwhelming. The thud of the bass is sickening. The world is a haze of audio static and dry ice. He feels himself jerked sideways, suddenly, a strong hand gripping his wrist. His heart races. He struggles, pulls away, eyes darting for an escape. The fuck are you doing? You're sticking out like a sore thumb. Over here, quick, and keep your head down. Sorry, just... please, let go of me. It's so loud I can't think. The doctor's gaze is harsh, but not unforgiving. Her nerves betray her composure, her hand shaking slightly as she lets go. I'm sorry, I won't touch you like that again. Just let me do the talking here. You want this as much as I do, right? Yes, I think I do. You have to be certain. This is dangerous. I won't forgive you if you get hurt chasing a dream you don't want. The intensity lights up in her eyes. Her passion and rage and fury and betrayal mix to a single point of hot white fire. The thrum of the bass blasts out again, the stench of sweat and absurd hormones mixing with dry ice miasma. It's so hard to think like this, so hard to know what to want. She leads him to a quieter back booth. The strobe and neon flicker through the underclub. Somewhere far, far above, the hierarchy dances in perfect synchronicity. But down here, the sewer rats, everything is off-key. A half beat out of time. I know you're out of your comfort zone with this. I am too. But I'm not letting anyone stop me. This is too important. I wish I had your drive. No, you don't. Trust me. Wait, I think they're here. The smoke briefly clears as the escort paces through the crowd, their presence small but distinct, used to the off-kilter steps and mistimed beats. The hierarchy's claws are still there on them. No one is ever truly free, but so light as to be just a scratch, not gouged so deep to the heart. They draw a deep drag from a vaporizer, cells shifting imperceptibly under their surface. They sit beside the Scholar, cat-like, grinning, sharp as a razor. So, it's you two nerds that want to get into the zone, huh? Were we really that obvious? Do you even have to ask? I was trying my best. I care for you, Professor, but seriously, shut up. This is not your area of expertise. Ha 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 ha! Sure as fuck ain't yours either, Doc. Then make it my area of expertise. We're getting into the zone regardless of whether you help us or not. And if you want payment, I suggest you help us. Check the case. What? Oh my god, did you... Is that... Psycho Silver? Yes, it is. Now forget what you saw. I've betrayed too many people for this to get screwed up now. Oh, wow. This is the real shit, huh? You really weren't kidding when you said you were serious. I don't kid. You realize you can't go back to the hierarchy after this. Then you understand how serious I am. Alright, and the Nerd King over here, what's his payment? That's more than enough to cover both of us. Don't try to stiff me. Wait, what? You're paying for us both? That's not fair to you. Shut up, please. I'm just trying to make an honest living, but fair's fair. And this is a whole lot of goods. I'll take you both, but you really gotta be sure. This shit's dangerous. And even if we make it through, neither of you are coming back the same. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes. Ooh. Embrace reckless self-destruction or refuse the call. This is it's a hell of a framing you got there. Yes, I need to know. I don't envy what you're gonna find out, Nerd King. But if it means that much to you. The doctor places the case in a nondescript backpack and hands it to the escort. They sling it over their shoulder and smirk. They stand up and leave the booth. The scholar shifts uneasily, head pounding along with the bass. Well, enjoy your last night before you come back different. Though, by the smell of the both of you, you've already started to change. Ugh. Is it me? Did I not wear enough deodorant? I'm sorry. That isn't what they mean. Oh, a sharp one. Meet beneath the 4th bridge tomorrow. The hierarchy doesn't care what happens out in the slums. Be seeing ya. The escort slips into the crowd of moving, shoving, swaying bodies, vanishing in an instant. They're wrong. I know. The hierarchy always cares. What happens anywhere. The hierarchy always cares. I know. We're always villains. This is really bad. If you want answers, this is the only way. We've made our choices. Don't look back. Don't regret this. Promise me you won't regret this. I can't. I know. I can't either. The escort was right. They did come back different. That's a pretty good hook. That's a pretty good intro. Yep. That's a pretty good start. You're wondering what the hell's going on, but also I'm already seeing the obvious parallels, I feel like. Having to know whether... The first glance is thinking like, oh, we're talking about gender, obviously, right? And maybe I'm just projecting too much or just guessing too much, but I'm like, immediately I'm like, okay, well, we're talking about making a leap that you can't reverse into a different life with the hope that it is worth knowing and that the change is worth the leap. 5 in the morning. Painfully early, the doctor stands beneath the shadow of the city, casting furtive glances all around. The scholar makes his way to the bridge. Frost eats at the ground and gnaws through the boots into his feet. It's too cold, but there's no turning back now. You're late. Were you followed? I don't think so. It's hard to tell. I've never done this before. Hopefully we'll never have to do this again. You look cold. Take this. The doctor hands him a thermos. Gingerly, he unscrews the lid, steam and condensation pouring upwards, mixing with the cold puffs of his breath. The scent of hot chocolate fills his nose. He sips, a familiar warmth spreading through his chest. It tastes like home, like memories of a childhood he never had, of cozy winter fireplaces and the scent of cinnamon, of the illusion of family and unconditional love. It tastes like the time before he even knew what the hierarchy was. But that can't be true. Everyone knows what the hierarchy is, even if they're too young to understand it. Is this Cacranche? I didn't think they made it this anymore. They don't. I saved it for a special occasion. I can be sentimental sometimes, as much as a shock as that might be to you. A whisper passes through the air. With barely a shuffle, the escort appears, as if they had always been there unnoticed. What up, dustbags? Oh, God. Frick, I nearly dropped my drink. It's okay, you can say fuck. Where we're going, you can say all kinds of bad words. Please, don't patronize me. Leave him alone, escort. I paid you well enough to be civil. Jeez, can't I just have some fun? I don't bite. Much. The trio leave, departing quickly before the eyes of the hierarchy pays too close attention. A futile endeavor in the long term, but if you slip away whilst they're blinking, you can have a short chance. And a short chance is all they need. The escort guides them to the edge of the city, past bright, glittering lights, away from the insulated safety of the modern hierarchy, steadily further into the suburbs, then away together. The glitz and glamour rapidly vanishes, replaced instead with half-torn fences and decaying tower blocks. The escort leads them further, down a ditch, through a torn open fence, onto the old train tracks, and, almost too easily, through an empty cargo carriage. They gesture to remain silent. The doctor takes deep, quiet breaths, hard as stone, but sweating. The scholar, small, nervous, and uncertain, shivers without feeling the cold. Within a few moments, he can't feel anything at all. The escort gestures again, and holds on to the side of the carriage. With a start, the train's engine clunks on. The scholar stumbles for a moment, but the doctor flings an arm out, steadies his shoulder. Their breath billows in front of their faces as the engines roar around them. Still not safe, but better than before. A few minutes pass. An hour. 2 hours. 3. The engines of the train die back. The glimpse of the outside world through the door crack slows. The escort prowls forward, opens the door, looks around, and judges the surroundings. The escort looks down, waits for the momentum of the carriage to slow enough. They point and gesture out. Jump. The doctor moves forward, leaps, branches for impact. She lands, crashing to the frosted grass outside, the thud winding her. She tries to roll, but the world sparkles in front of her eyes. The scholar follows next, throws himself off, lands and skids on his feet. He overbalances, coming down hard on his elbow. He stifles a yelp of pain, biting his arm to keep from crying out. Last, the escort jumps, lands, falls, skidding on their knees. But they came prepared. Their already dirty combat trousers unashamed of another stain. They stand up and jog over to the scholar, then the doctor. That's the least unpleasant part of what we're gonna do. I'm okay, just fuck. Hurts to breathe. Just a bit. I'm fine, I can stand, I'm fine. You better be. I hid our survival bags over the hill. They're not light. I said I'm fine. The trio climb atop a small hill covered in tall, untamed grass. The doctor waves away the help of the scholar, but she winces in pain. The escort climbs down the other side and moves aside a well-hidden tarpaulin. Beneath are 3 large military-grade camping bags. They hand one to the scholar, a second to the doctor, who winces again but shoos away assistance. The escort finally unfurls a carefully wrapped package beneath the bags. 3 radiation counters, and a psycho-silver pistol. They load in cartridges of 45 Camusian AP rounds. They hand a counter to the doctor and another to the scholar. They also hand him the gun. I'm guessing radiation? He takes it cautiously. I've never fired a gun in my life. I've never even seen one like this. That's because they're highly illegal. You don't have to look so happy about it. Look, we need it for the zone. There's the HQE phenomena. I know, it scares me. Huh? He's referring to the blowouts. Yeah, sorry, I ain't fluent and fancy. I just didn't think it'd be so real. It feels more real now we're here. I don't want to need this gun. I don't want this. I don't want to face it. Then why are you here, buddy? I want to, but I don't. It's not straightforward. It was never going to be. He hands the pistol back to the escort, who shrugs and holsters it. Help, that wall can see me. They're coming for me. The trio adjust their backpacks and move forward. The tree line ahead is stained a rusted red, permanent autumn, a side effect of the zone's dialectic fallout. The air here smells still and cool, fresher, yet emptier. Before the forest, before the zone itself, the layers of razor wire, the hierarchy couldn't control the zone, but they could at least exile it, fence it in, banish it from civilized society. The escort approaches the wire, kneels down, and slings their backpack off. They retrieve a pair of wire cutters, grumbling as they cut through a mix of artificial thorns and metal and sharpness. They fixed this up since last time I was here. This should still be a weak point. There. The wire gives way, whipping to the side. The escort scrambles back, narrowly dodges getting hit in the face. The wire cuts their sleeve and slices across their left arm. In the distance, an alarm sounds. Dogs bark. The hierarchy knows. I thought this was a safe zone. Safer doesn't mean safe. Fuck, come on, go. Through quickly. The scholar dives through first, the razor wire barely parting enough for him to get through, barbs piercing through his legs. But he keeps on running as small streaks of blood splatter the ground. The doctor follows, grimacing as the wire slashes her arms too. The escort follows last, but sprints ahead of them both, their body used to the adrenaline as their cuts clot over. Gunfire sounds in the distance. A hail of shots rain across the ground and around them. But they're still running. They're still up. Fuck! Go! To the forest! They keep running. The doctor, her broken ribs stabbing her, slows, the scholar and the escort dashing past her. She keeps trying to run. It's heavy. The world is heavy. Her lungs can't move with all this pain in the way. The forest is just ahead. They can shake them there, but her head is swimming, her vision flashing with each jolt to her chest. She stumbles, falls, lands on her injured side. She screams and clenches her teeth, trying to stand again. The gunfire ricochets around her, the world dimmed by a cacophony of bullets. She tries to scramble up, the escorts yelling ahead. The scholar just visible at the tree line, but the world is flipped sideways. Which way is even up? Well, the escort or the scholar? Run to the scholar? The doctor crawls on all fours for a second, pushed forward with the momentum and adrenaline she has. The tree line is ahead. The scholar darts back, reaches out his hand, grasps hers, pulls her up. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh frick, fuck, frick. The scholar almost smiles. She's never heard the scholar swear before. The moment is cut short. More bullets fly forward, one clipping by her boot, jarring her off her feet again. The scholar catches her as her momentum tumbles her forward. He's small, but he's stronger than he looks. He retains his balance, barely, and pulls them both forward with the last of her momentum. They fall into the tree line and duck between the enormous, eternally orange firs. The red bleached forest stretches out ahead. A safe moment. The hierarchy knows better than to follow them here. The doctor collapses on the ground, crying in pain. The scent of burning metal and scorched rubber hang in the air from her bullet-scuffed boot. She sobs, her chest heaving and hurting, the slices across her arms still bleeding. The scholar heaves her backpack off her and rummages through to find bandages. Here, I found these, take them. No, fuck. No, your legs first. I'm fine, you're hurting. Your legs are bleeding more. I don't care. I don't either. Coughing noise, I can't. I hate doing coughing noises. Fuck. Oh, God, this fucking hurts. Then shut up and let me help you. Not your job. I'll fix this myself. Give me a moment. Why are you like this? Just let me help you. You've done too much for me. Let me actually do something for you. It's not fair. You're not fair. Not to you, not to either of us. The scholar moves to wipe the wounds clean. The doctor begins to protest but stops herself, lying on the dirt as the tears well up. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just stop being a stoical jerk. I know I'm small and I'm soft. I don't want to be. In so many ways I don't want to be. I'm only making this journey because I want to be hard. I want to be able to be hard. But just because I can't doesn't mean you have to be instead. You don't have to take that on for me. You know it's okay to be weak sometimes, right? Sometimes I think weakness is a great thing, and strength, it's nothing. When someone is born, they're weak, but they're flexible. They've got their whole life ahead. There's all that potential. He looks up at the red forest around, petrified forever by humanity's fallout. When a tree is growing, it's tender and pliant, but when it's dry and hard, it dies. Hardness and strength, they're death's companions. Pliancy and weakness, they're expressions of life. What is hardened will never win. Andre told me that. We were in his biology lectures together. I know you heard that too. It's okay to be soft. You can be strong without being strong. For once, just let me be strong for you. The doctor begins to cry in earnest, her voice rasping as the anguish and fear pours from her. Every cut, every wound, every fight she's lost, everyone she'd lost, everyone she'd betrayed. And now they were so close to the answer. Why did it still hurt? The trio reunite underneath the red-brown canopy. The doctor still limps, but her wounds are mending. The scholar's cuts have already fully closed, leaving only small, white lines. They camp for the night. The night air is still beneath the dead trees. The next morning is more walking, and more walking, and more walking. 3 hours pass. The hours pass. The escort stalks ahead, reaching into a small bag tied on their belt. They pluck out a small metal nut with white ribbon tied through it. They throw it forward. It sails through the air, white ribbon flickering, and lands. They slow their pace, pause, retrieve it, throw another, and another, and another. The journey is beyond tedious. Why is this taking so long? Takes as long as it takes, Doc. We've been following. We're being followed. They'll find us. They ain't gonna follow us in here. They don't know the way. Besides, there's scarier things in here than them, and they know that. The escort throws another nut through the trees. It flies forward. A crack. The nut plummets prematurely to the earth like a magnet sucked it from the sky. I'm a disaster. It hits the ground and sticks without bouncing. Then the gravity pulls it in and down and just keeps pulling. The pressure on the nut crushes it into the earth, the metal bowing and cracking under the heaviness of gravity. My God, is that real? A real avian vocal spot. I told you I ain't fluent and fancy. Me? I call this a crush. It shows up randomly sometimes. I saw a guy walk into one once. There wasn't much left of him to walk back out. And, like a crush you don't want, it shows up when you least want it to. How can you tell it's there before it's too late? Honestly, you can't. Throwing the nuts and bolts sometimes gives you a rough idea, though. It's why you don't run head first in here. Or you won't have a head anymore. I can think of worst fates. I never liked my face much anyway. Please don't joke about that. The idea makes me feel sick. They walk. The path through the forest is fraught with more crushes. They double back, turn left, turn right, return multiple times. The end of the red forest is in sight. But still the journey takes hours more. The scholar's feet hurt from the constant retreading, but he doesn't complain. The doctor looks pale. The escort has seen this before, knows the tracks. It becomes instinctual. There's a trick to it. You do it, or you die. And they had enough of dying a lifetime ago. At last they reach the edge of the forest. In the distance they can see the sun slowly sinking, bathing the world in amber and blood red. At least this looks a bit more straightforward. I expect looks are deceiving, though. You betcha. Shit is still dangerous out there. It's worse out there in the dark, too. You don't see any of the real rough stuff we didn't see any of the real rough stuff last night. It's fascinating. I never thought I'd see this much of the zone in my life. Look, that stuff over there, that's colloidal gas deposits, right? The misty stuff with the blue fire. And there, where the light is bending outwards, that's an artificial gravity prism. And across the lake over there, do you see it? The old houses. You can see ferrous gossipium. The dielectrical fallout is even in the grass. It grows counterclockwise and reverses the patterns of normal biology outside, see? It's like everything here is isomeric. It's all the same, but different. Like a mirror. Like a left hand and a right hand. Both the same thing. The same formula, the same makeup. But the arrangement so different that one can't ever fit into being the other. Oh my god, there's so much out there. It's still dangerous. Yes, but look at it all. Look at how beautiful this place is. They all look out across the grassland. Emerald haze and blue smoke. Dashes of fire and yellow and crimson and ash and purple glow. And chemicals and burning and chaos and war and freedom and peace. The escort takes a deep breath and grabs their vaporizer. They inhale the fluid. Their cells shift, refocus, dancing in the golden light. Can't say I understand all that science lingo, but you're right. This place has always been beautiful. They take a deep breath, the mirror air reflecting inside them, the sinistral mixing with the dextral. We should go. We don't want to be caught short at night. There's a village a couple miles from here. Should be safe there. Don't worry, Doc. No one lives there now. Except others like us. No one here's gonna snitch. No one here can ever really go back to the hierarchy. They walk. The sky changes above them, gold bleeding out into blood red as the last light fades. The escort continues to throw metal nuts at random intervals across the grassland. They retrieve them, but keep their ears up, wary, focused. The scent of wood smoke and spice and death fills their nostrils. The other two don't notice. They turn, deviate course. It fades. Glimmers of moisture hang to the tall grasses, the white flowers, beads of watery eyes hanging on the wild. They watch, observe, glint. No, not that way. It's too angry that way. Go back 3 paces. Return, forward, but straight to the right. It's sad this way, but manageable. The escort's heart starts to pulse in time with the zone as it speaks to them. The soft glances, the small touches, the things no one could see unless they already knew. A flirtation, a moment in time, present, then lost, then found again. Outside here, their head felt full of cotton. In the zone, they feel like it all makes sense. Like they made sense. Ahead, through an overgrown clearing in the trees, the old remains of a road long abandoned. The escort pushes the brambles and thorns out of the way, ignoring the scrapes across their trousers. There are only a few houses, and the remains of a medical clinic and a small, dilapidated storage shed. The carcasses of empty, dead vehicles still lie on the roadside, their internals long since gutted for metals, leaving only shells. The scholar gazes inside. The rotted upholstery still has the traces of psychosilver dotted through. We're here. You guys will want to get ready to make camp. The village is safe. The scholar takes out his focal Geiger radiation counter. The soft bursts of static picking up as he waves the scanner across the area. He frowns. Safe-ish. The scholar frowns more. The doctor shrugs, moves forward into the skeleton of the clinic building, and shrugs her bag off her shoulders. A bit of dialectical fallout is worth the risk. They're definitely doing something there. The focal Geiger. That's not the normal name for that, right? It can't be. I am ignorant of many things, but I don't think it's secretly called the focal Geiger counter. That's a more obvious reference. And then dialectical fallout. What a phrase. The scholar also places his bag down. Carefully, he reaches into a pocket and grabs a camera and some small stencil-like instruments. Spend times with the doctor or the scholar. Abandoned buildings are always fun. It's probably not inherently fun in this setting. The escort follows the doctor into the gutted room, leaving the scholar to his measurements. He barely notices, frantically scribbling down notes on crumpled paper. They pause in the entranceway, watching the doctor. The tall woman brings her torch up. She only illuminates broken bottles, empty shelves, papers scattered across the floor. Not sure what you're looking for. I scoured this place years ago. It can't hurt to double check. There might be something we can use here. You never know what you might miss the first time you look at something. The doctor wanders into the next adjacent room. The floorboards have all rotted away, leaving only dead foundation below. She steps into the decay, crouching, scanning beneath the broken wood. It seems almost foolish, childish even. If there was anything still left through here, the escort would know it. The zone had its own language, its own way of telling you. You just had to learn how to listen. You also told us to keep our senses sharp for danger, no? I want to be sure this is safe before letting my guard down. Well, keep looking around for as long as you need. If it'll help you rest easier tonight, I won't stop you. Though I'm guessing even seeing it safe as possible won't help you much, will it? It's not paranoia if they're actually out to get you. That's fair. But that kind of view ain't healthy for you. It helps you survive, but surviving and living aren't the same things, you know? The doctor continues searching. The next room is empty too, only dust and cobwebs. She steps inside and reaches out her hand to brush the webs away. The escort grabs her shoulder and stops her, yanking her back hard. The room smells of static, of poise and ambush, their hackles raised. Hold up, that ain't right. Let me just... The escort quickly reaches to her belt and throws a bolt. It connects with the spiderweb. It crackles, fizzes, fades as the bolt becomes molten metal in an instant. The damp air alights with a shrill of ozone. Shit, was that Psycho Silver? Think so. You don't want to touch it, whatever it is. They both pause, looking further inside. An empty storage room covered in paper and detritus. But wait. Something new. Stuck in the shadows, but just visible in the fading metal glow. Is that some old tech there? Huh. What do you know? You were right, Doc. Guess I didn't pick this place completely clean. Let me just... I don't think there's anything else disguising itself as murder webs in here. Cautiously, the doctor wanders in, her lantern shining all around for more webs. She doesn't spot any. She retrieves a battered radio, weather-beaten and covered in earth and rot, but wiring intact. Huh. You think you can fix this up? Sure. If nothing else, it'll be a way to pass the time. We can't move much further into the zone tonight anyway. It's too dangerous. They both return to the main clinic room, the remaining twilight shining through the windows and the torch's glow provide enough light to work by. The escort settles down on the remaining fragments of floor and grabs some spare copper wiring from their bag. The doctor sits close by, taking some painkillers as she watches closely. The air smells of wood rot and damp, but it's not unpleasant. Decay is just flux, and flux is just nature. With gentle pressure, the back of the radio pops open easily. They find the pliers, twist the coils of metal around the antennae. Static crackles through the half-dead speaker, but half dead is half alive, and that is still progress. I'm impressed. That thing doesn't even have a power source. What can I say? I'm good at what I do. Besides, we don't need batteries in the zone. This place has its own life, you know? The escort jams her pliers in a little further, and with another crack, the radio sparks to life. It spews out static, then garbled voices. The doctor chuckles. You know, if you turn the frequency past 106.4, you hear the devil, right? That myth is bullshit, and you know it. You hear weird shit sometimes. Ghosts in the machine. I heard something once on a night shift. The rest of the hospital was dead. It was just me there. There was too much crap on the desk. I knocked the radio over. I turned it back on and retuned it and heard something. Just there in the spaces between signals. Save your spooky stories for teenagers, Doc. Besides, we're already living in a horror flick. I prefer to think of my life as a psychological art drama, personally. Of course you would. Being pretentious seems to be your thing. I see you're getting to know me well. The doctor twists the dials on the radio a little more, the muffled sounds of music gently flowing in through the night air. The sinistral insects in the grasses outside quieting their chirping. How are you feeling, anyway? You got hurt pretty bad coming in. I feel fine now. Better than fine, actually. It feels like back home. These wounds would have taken weeks to heal up. But here it's only been a day. My ribs barely hurt anymore. The escort smiles, genuinely. Their chromosomes flickered, the chirality diverting for a second, altering tempo to the doctor's pace. The doctor didn't notice. The escort shrugs their jacket off their bare shoulders, letting their sweat evaporate in the cool night air. The scars were there. They didn't feel like they had to hide them from the doctor. She'd understand. Gruff as the woman tried to be, she didn't judge. The escort could feel it. Out there, whenever I got hurt, I'd take so long to heal. I felt like everyone saw me as fragile. That I was fragile. That I couldn't take a single hit before falling. That one jab, one criticism would make me cry for days. When I finally got in here, I felt like I could breathe again, you know? Like this big boulder got lifted off me. Like I could start rolling with the punches. Yeah. It's like I can actually think again. Like my mind isn't wading through mud. This place really is important. I know it's dangerous, but it's really important. It's still hard to relax here. Any missteps and you're dead. Though I guess that's not so different from home. I know it's hard to trust when it seems like it's gonna kill you every few seconds. Or if you're already used to being chased. But the way I see it, you can choose not to trust because the world is scary. Or you can choose to trust because we're in this together despite that. The escort takes the glove off their hand. Let it sit beside them. In the space between them and the doctor, an offer, but one without pursuit. The doctor reaches out her own hand. Her heart changes. Her tempo accelerates by just a fraction. The feel of their spaces meshing, yet always without touching. Maybe I can do that. I think that's a decent starting point right here. Let's click a little quick save button. Click the save button, because I always do both anyway. Ba-doop. But yeah, this is Ascension. Link in the description to check it out. It's free. You can just go play it right now. There's nothing really stopping you. In fact, I'd have to double check, but I'll include an itch.io link also if it's there, because oftentimes you can even play those on your phone by just clicking the link, but I pre-tested that in this case, or even checked. For full disclosure, my allegory brain is fucking going crazy right now because I'm drawing a lot of connections that I don't always entirely feel comfortable articulating, because we're talking about an experience that I don't fully understand. But because I'm just fucking neck deep in a B-Stars essay about allegory and whatnot, I'm thinking a lot about what could be a lot of hints at outside experiences going on throughout this whole thing, just laced into every part of this narrative that I find interesting already. And if you want to check it out and see where it goes, you can do that. You can go do that. But as far as disclosure goes, it's because I've been actually talking to Soul Matul, and probably should have double-checked how to emphasize the syllables in her username before this video, because I'm definitely saying it for the first time out loud and being like, hang on a minute, how does each U sound in that name? But I've been chatting with her, and in part because she's been looking at my script and so on, and so I wanted to play her game because I've been meaning to do that, and so I thought I'd give it a preview, and so you guys can take a look at that and so on. So that's the context there. But yeah, thanks for watching, and you can subscribe to their YouTube channel. You can subscribe to her YouTube channel or play her games, and that's just always really fucking cool when somebody actually commits to making a whole game. Thanks for watching like always, guys, and I'll see you next time.